barakatuhu. My name is Bilal Abdul Kareem for OGN. Today, we're going to discuss exactly why did Israel accept a ceasefire that was brokered by their own staunch ally, Donald Trump. Let's get started here. First of all, we've got a map here of Tel Aviv, and we're going to talk about why that's so important. The first issue we're going to discuss is that it was a little bit of a recap, 12 days of rocket barrages which were going back and forth between Israel and Iran. Now, somebody might say, looking at the title, why aren't we discussing why Iran accepted the peace agreement? Well, it's pretty clear to me. Two issues. One, they didn't start the hostilities. They said as long as the Israelis stop their aggression, we'll stop. The second issue is that they sustained massive amounts of damage in their territories. There's no question about that. But let's take a look and see, why did Tel Aviv accept it? Because at the end of the day, it was their war. They started it. There's no disputing that. If you want to accept what the Israelis said, that it was a preemptive strike or something or other, then you're free to do that. But the first rockets and bombs fell by way of Tel Aviv. Now, let's talk about why they would accept that. Now, first of all, you got to understand something. Iranians don't have dual passports. I'm talking about in the general sense. Just like Palestinians, their home is their home. Israel is full of people who are not indigenous to that area. So, and there was a mass exodus of people going in on boats to Cyprus, trying their best to get out of the country. That hurts the Israelis. That's not what they expected when they first bombed the nuclear facilities of the Iranians. Take a look at this. Where's that? Looks like Gaza. Oh, wait a minute. It's not Gaza. That's Tel Aviv. Let's take a look at this. This is another place. Looks like Gaza again. It's 8 kilometers outside of Tel Aviv. But let's look at another important place that we've got here we talked about, which is Haifa. Haifa is Israel's second largest city. It's a huge port wherein so much of the imported goods comes directly into the ports of Haifa. And smashing Haifa was an obvious goal of the Iranians because they did a pretty good job. But now we're looking at something here. This is not just the regular areas or the common areas of Haifa. Why is it so important? This is the Bazan oil refinery. It lives in Haifa, and it processes 200,000 barrels per day of oil. 65% of Israel's diesel is processed right here. 59% of Israel's gasoline is processed right here. 52% of their kerosene, or that jet fuel that they need so much to run those sorties over Iran and also over the Palestinian territories, is processed right here. The Iranians did a real job on this oil refinery. They smashed the power grid. They smashed other tubes and pipelines, which were key to keeping this functional. Up until now, it's still not operating at capacity. It's not operating at all, actually. So the point that I'm making here is that Donald Trump is no friend of the Iranians, and they are not a neutral broker at all. Actually, they participated in bombing the Iranians. So don't think that Donald Trump would have set forward any type of cessation of hostilities, except that it was totally within the interest of the Israelis, not the Iranians. The Israelis, as a bit of a recap, there was a mass exodus of their citizens. In addition to that, Tel Aviv was smacked very, very hard many, many times. 3, the myth of their Iron Dome, it didn't perform to capacity. It really didn't. Yes, it did stop a lot of the missiles, but there were so many of the missiles that actually got through, and the Iranians did not use their entire arsenal. That's got Tel Aviv worried right now, because what else does Iran have? Because they were able to get past the Iron Dome. They figured out a way to do that. What's going to happen if the conflict continues and prolongs? And finally, Haifa, which is their largest port, which was hit very, very hard. In addition to Haifa, it being its second largest city, also the Bazan oil refinery was taken out of service, and this is a lot of production that was taken out of service. My name is Bilal.